Let's make a structure. This structure is a box. So you will need a piece of paper, a pencil and a ruler, some scissors, and a glue stick. So step one is to take your ruler and your pencil and mark some lines on the paper like this. And turn your paper around, and you want to make a line in about the same place as you just did. So these two lines should be about at the same spot. If you'd like to measure, you can measure with a ruler to make sure it's in the same spot. Then turn your page this way, and I'm trying to make a square right here. I don't want to put the ruler here, that's a rectangle. I don't want to put the ruler right here, that's a rectangle here. I want to make a square. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that's about a square. Then turn your page around and do the same thing to the other side. Again, try to make a square in the two corners. So move your ruler up and down until you see about a square. Then you can put your ruler and your pencil aside, and now you have lines that you can cut with your scissors. So pick up your paper, and now you want to cut only 4 different cuts, and that is this cut here. Just cut right to that line there. That's as far as you want to go. Same thing over here. Then turn your page around and give this a cut as well here. And one more cut. There. Now you're done with your scissors too. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts. Now these lines become fold lines. So those are the lines where you're going to be folding your paper. So with the side of the paper with your pencil lines facing up, facing towards you, you want to fold this up and fold this across like that. Then flip your page around and fold this across. Do it slowly and carefully so that the folds line up with your cuts. If the folds don't line up with your cuts, your box won't work out as well. So now we can begin to see our box taking shape because we've folded up the 2 sides of the paper and we have 2 sides of the box done. We've got a little bit more folding to do. So I'm going to flatten this out. We've got another line here and another line here. So this is easier to do in 3 separate folds on each end. So I'm going to fold this down. Don't pull too hard or you'll rip the paper. So fold that down. Notice how I folded it in line with the other pencil line I did. I'm going to fold this up too. And finally fold this one up too. And then I'm going to fold them back about halfway. Spin your paper around and do the same thing to the other side. Then fold them back up so they're about up like that. So now we're done all of our folding. Now we just have to do some gluing. So you'll notice that these 2 sides want to go up like this. So make sure your little flaps on the end, the little squares that you were looking for at the beginning, are going to be on the inside of your box, not out here. I mean, you can, it doesn't really matter, but your box looks more like a box if they're sort of on the inside, like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on each of the 4 flaps, and then I'm going to start gluing my box together, and then I'm finished. So I'm just going to put some glue, and I'm just going to put an X here. You don't have to put an X. I'm going to put some glue right there just on this whole square. And you want to get glue on the whole thing. So I'm going to do that side, and then this side. Then I'm going to flip it up. It gets a bit sticky. And then this part is really important. Just carefully line up the edge of the paper with your flap and glue it on. So you see how that's glued there? Now you'll notice I have a little bit of a piece sticking up here. That's okay, we can cut that off later. It's because I didn't have a perfect square when I drew the lines here. That's okay. I'm gonna do this too. So gluing this flap. So we'll bring this flap in. So notice how that's a little bit over the edge. So I'm just gonna push my fingers a bit, try to get it lined up. So I have a nice corner here. So now I've got one side of my box done. Now the other side. This side's a little bit harder because this side's already glued. So you might have to turn your box a bit on the side like this. It gets a little awkward, but it's okay. It's just paper. Paper can bend. Okay, there's that other flap. So we'll move that on. Squeeze that together and make sure that corner looks really nice. And then one last one. This is the fourth little flap. So not a lot of gluing. Just 4 little flaps. You can use tape or staples, but using a glue stick is probably the best thing to do because it's fast, it's not as messy, and your box sticks together right away. So now my box is pretty much done. See how it sort of goes out a bit on the sides? I can just fold this over a little bit, try and make it a bit straighter. Now I'm done with all my materials and I have a finished box. So good luck making your box.